right, I used to work at Target, and I took that part-time high school job very, very seriously. No matter how thankless or inhumane the job they gave me was, I would complete it quickly and efficiently, and I would say, thank you, what else do you have for me to do? I didn't yet know that your reward for doing that in retail is you are given the worst of all possible jobs until you cannot handle it anymore. And that is why, one Black Friday, I found myself tasked with walking around the store, approaching people cold in the middle of their shopping, and asking them if they would like to open up a Target Visa card. Now, asking someone to open a credit card on a normal night is very painful in and of itself. It's about the level of tying a string around your tooth and tying the other end to a doorknob and slamming the door shut and having it ripped out. So doing this on Black Friday was like taking that string and stapling it to your face and slamming the door and feeling all of your skin tear off and all of the muscle go with it and all of the connective tissue on top of that until you are simply a skeleton and you collapse into dust. And most of the time, when I would walk up to people and say, excuse me, would you like to save 10% on your purchase today by opening a Target Visa card? Their faces, already sunken and haggard from shopping at Target on Black Friday, would somehow slouch even lower. And if I was lucky, they would just turn away. And that is why I felt salvation when these two little old ladies came up to me and they asked me for help. I didn't have to think about credit cards at all. They just said, excuse me, young man, can you help us find the George Foreman grills? And I said, Foreman grills, no problem. Grills, you want to go to the back of the store, buy the seasonal stuff. They're out on display in the front, and you'll see everything back there you need. You'll be just fine. And they said, thank you very much. And for a brief moment, I felt some respite from that horrible day. And as they wandered away, I was like, wait a minute. They said Foreman grills. Those go on your countertop. They're not big. They don't go in the back of the store. That's a completely different part of the store. And I saw them go out of sight, and I was like, they'll be fine. So about an hour later, I was on the registers, and they came through my line. And I said hello, and I was ready for them to kind of rip into me because I sent them on a wild goose chase. They had a Foreman grill with them. They had found one. But either by dumb luck or old age, they did not remember me. And so we had this pleasant conversation, part of which they complained bitterly about the jerk who had told them the wrong directions about the Foreman grills. And I was like, oh yeah, he sounds like a real bad guy. And I said I would keep an eye out for him and give him a piece of my mind if I figured out who it was. And they said thank you, and they left, and I was like, all right, I got away with it. So I worked about another 6 hours, and by the end of that shift, everything that had happened that day was out of my mind because it was Black Friday. And after that, my day was not yet done. I had to go to the dentist's office. So I get to the dentist's office, and I greet the receptionist, and I go in and I sit down in the chair. The dental hygienist comes in. And she's working on my mouth. She's got her hooks in me, and she's chatting with me, asking me what I did that day. And I said, well, you know, it's Black Friday, and I worked at Target. And she laughed, and she said, that's the funniest thing. I was at Target this morning, and then she stopped. And she looked at me, and she still had the hooks in my mouth. And she goes, hey, Barb, get in here. So the receptionist comes in, and she trundles over, and she goes, what? And the hygienist says, I think this is the guy. And Barb looks down, and Barb says, yeah, that is him. And they were both like, oh, you wasted an hour of our Black Friday shopping before we had to go to work. We are not happy. And I'm not going to do like a hooks in mouth voice because that's way overdone. But I was very afraid, and I frantically started trying to apologize. I'm sweating like crazy. I can remember that it is not uncommon for someone to die accidentally under dental anesthetic. And it would be very easy for them to slit my throat and pass it off as an emergency tracheotomy that did not manage to resuscitate me. So again, I'm sweating bullets, and they are holding my uvula hostage, and they are debating what to do with me. And none of my apologies matter, and all I can do is picture my mother hearing the news of what's happened to me and saying, he probably had it coming. And at that moment, the dentist walked in and said, what's all the fuss? And he saved me. He saved my life. And so the hygienist could not murder me that day, and I was able to get away, and I left without saying much to Barb on the way out. And as soon as I got home, I immediately talked to my mother and found a new dentist to go to, and I've never been back. So just keep in mind, if you accidentally tell someone a lie, and you have the chance to make up for it, you better do it, because you never know when you might get caught.
got